another fantastic Darlington finish starring Ricky Craven. To Steve Burns.
Hey, Dick, it's been 64 races between visits to victory lane for 45-year-old veteran Mark Martin, a guy who's won 33 times. But yesterday in happy hour practice, he ran more laps than anybody else, and more importantly, he posted the fastest lap of any other driver. His crew chief, Pat Trison, says he's been racing mad inside that race car, and that's a good sign. It means he wants to get back to victory lane. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, Jeff Gordon has 6 wins here at Darlington, but Jeff last year failed to finish in the top 10 for the first time at this racetrack since his rookie year back in 1993. His car extremely tight in the final practice session. Crew Chief Robbie Loomis told me the car just would not react. They made a number of changes, but it'll take the lap 25 today to see if those changes have helped the race car, because the Busch race and the weather has changed this racetrack. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. Bottom of the screen, you see our starting grid and crew chiefs included as that goes by. As they pass the David Pearson Tower in turn 4 for this track's all-time winner. Here's our NASCAR on Fox weather update.
There you see the air temperature is 70 degrees. And look at here, turns 1 and 2 is different. Temperature from 3 and 4. Those ends are different as well. This racetrack is shaped like an egg. Both ends, one end's narrow, one end's wider. But I think the biggest challenge on these crew chiefs is we got a, what do you call it, toad strangler last night for rain. Washed all the rubber off, so I look for these cars to be very loose, not grip the racetrack, so some rubber gets laid back down on the track.
She's a hard bull day, too.
Today, they'll run 293 laps to complete 400 miles.
There you see the pit window as far as fuel, 70 to 80 laps, but the real key is 50 to 60 laps on tires. This racetrack is like a piece of 80 grit sandpaper. Those drivers will want fresh tires after about 15 laps, though.
We saw Joe Nemechek fall victim to that yesterday in the Diamond Hill Plywood 200, the Busch Series race, where he came in for his second set of tires before the rest of the field, and then found himself wanting when another caution came out, and he couldn't get fresh rubber.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. They're coming to the green. Get on your feet.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, men!
Good clean start. Everybody wants to find that groove heading off into turn 1. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, he falls back in 3rd. That's about all he could do starting on the outside of the front row. He had to yield to Greg Biffle in the 16 car that started 3rd.
And you know what, Mike? They run one turn, they're already complaining about their car.
I'm loose! I'm really loose!
Casey Kane, what a rookie phenom he has been these first few races as he leads Greg Biffle for lap 1.
Tell you, a lot of fingers pointed at that 16 car, though, this morning in the garage here. Greg Biffle, he won the Busch race here yesterday. Said he did have one of the best cars on long runs in happy hour practice yesterday.
And he had a great car here last year. Could have won this race, and the car was bottoming out. And he broke his flywheel, eventually put him out of the race.
On the start, casual contact between Scott Riggs and Ricky Rudd, no damage.
The battle for 8th right here. Rusty Wallace in the 2 car, Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. Right now, we kind of have 2 grooves of racing with these cars on those fresh tires, but that will go away.
So, Darrell, how important is it to pass them when you can in the first couple laps?
Boy, I tell you what, just watching Rusty and Jeff in the Rusty in the 2 and Jeff in the 24, they went into turn 1 side by side, and you see what happens. It hurt both of them.
Backed them up about 8 car lengths from the field in front. And the car in front of them, the number 50 of Derek Cope. As you look at Darlington from above, and Junior looks for 2nd place and gets it.
He's really happy. Junior is really happy with that car. I'm telling you, he was just bragging on it last night.
And he had a great run at Rockingham last month. This racetrack, a lot of similar characteristics to Rockingham, where he had a top 5 finish.
It does so much for a driver and a team when you can have a weekend like they had in Vegas, and you can come back the next week and win the race. I'm telling you, that puts a lot of wind in your sails right there, buddy.
Ryan Vickers under Scott Riggs.
Battle for 29th position. Ryan Vickers started right there at 28. We've not had a lot of moving around as far as position changes just yet.
Yeah, most of the time this early in the race, you're not looking to race anybody Right now, you truly are trying to tell the crew what you need for the car.
The Cinderella story of this race is Derek Cope, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner. He was good in practice and backed it up with a qualifying effort, put him up in the first 3 rows. The Arnold development car a couple races ago had redneckjunk.com, a classified ad site for hunting, fishing, and car and pickup truck gear. NASCAR requested they take that sponsor off the hood, and the resulting publicity did great things for the website, which now just calls itself rjunk.com. That car's not junk, though. Derek is giving it a good ride.
Yeah, I mean, he's back in that qualifying run-up. He has a lot of pressure right now from Rusty Wallace in the 2 and Jeff Gordon in the 24, but he's still sitting there solidly in the top 10. I think that's what everybody was wondering. Can they back that qualifying run-up here today on race day?
Jeff Burton has come from 33rd to 25th. One of the cars on the move.
Yeah, he had a great run yesterday as well, you know, in the Busch race, finished second. So Roush cars traditionally run good here. Jeff, what you got, buddy?
One of the things right now, Darrell, is watching again, Jeff Burton. Remember, you talked about him a minute ago. He ran that Busch race along with Robbie Gordon in less than 6 laps. So these guys have gained a ton of positions from 33rd up to 25th. They're really on the move.
And, of course, the real challenge these guys have, they have good race cars, Darrell, but you're back there having to run the car so hard, you're a third of the lap behind the leaders, and you're starting to use your stuff up just trying to fight through this traffic.
One of the things that NASCAR is doing, and I think it's a pretty good idea, Michael's in the wall down in turns 3 and 4, and he's going around into the wall.
Caution is out. Morgan Shepherd in 89 just barely gets by, and I tell you, these guys have to be wondering, where is it going to stop at?
Yeah, ever since September of last year, this is the way his cars look most of the time.
Caution out beginning lap 9. Here at Darlington, Michael Waltrip gets caught up, and
it looks like the car, I was looking at it and I glanced up to see it, just gets loose going in. He tries to catch up with it. Not enough room here to chase a car up the hill. Gets clipped in the left front, turns it back into the outside wall.
Michael Waltrip's the only car in the garage as we restart to begin lap 15.
Yeah, all cars are on the lead lap. That's the reason it was a single file restart. And just remember, Greg Biffle, the only car that did not pit, he has 10 more laps on his tires than Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. We'll see if he can hold him off. Darrell, I think several cars are going to get by him, but hopefully he'll find a place somewhere there in the top 10 to fall in line.
I believe if he can hold enough of them off here for a few laps, nothing new wear off of the guys that stop the tires, he'll balance out here in the top 7 or 8, I believe.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, he'll get his 5 bonus points for leading, and there you see the battle for second place between Casey Kane in the 9 and Greg Biffle in the 16. Casey Kane will prevail. But I think Doug Richard was thinking, hey, I think with only 9 laps, we'll have some cars stay out. I'm sitting here thinking maybe the top 15 will stay out.
Yeah, Dick Bergman, I think you're down there near the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson's pit. Why did they pick that pit, Doc?
Well, I asked Chad Knaus that exact question this morning before the race started, Darrell. And let's remember back to last May at Lowe's Motor Speedway, they had that pit way up toward turn 4. The outcome was they won the race. Knaus likes that pit because nobody's going to be in front of him coming into the pit. He's also got a car in front of him that he expects is going to be a lap down early. As a result, he'll be able to get out of the pits very quickly. So a lot of good reasons to pick that pit way up here in turn 4.
Yeah, he's able to get there and get his work completed. Then all he has to worry about is staying out against the outside wall of pit road, maintaining that 45 miles per hour.
Johnson side by side with Bobby Labonte. That's for 11th place. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is our leader. It's the 3rd race he has led this year. Let's see. He's won 2, so that means every time he's led, he's won.
Got a good car, I know that. They were all up in the air about how good the car was, especially even on the long run. So we'll see how it works out for him.
And I tell you, Greg Biffle in the 16 car, he just continues to lose position. He just lost the position to Jeff Gordon in the 24, as well as Ward Burton in the 0. Jeff, I'm sure Doug Richard never anticipated they would be the only one not to pit.
I know it was a surprise, but the other thing that kind of confuses me, Doug, about what Doug did, Larry, is the fact that that car, you know, qualifying in the top 10 had to start on his qualifying tires. So his tires had an opportunity to sit since Friday. I know a lot of the guys, especially Fatback Swain, he said, I can't wait to get a chance to get those things off. So he took advantage of it, and right now, Greg Biffle's paying the price.
Guess that explains why all those leaders came in at lap 9, maybe?
Yeah, the NASCAR rules, if you qualify in the top 10, you have to start on those qualifiers. They impound those tires after qualifying. I talked to Michael Fatback McSwain this morning. He said, I've told Bobby Labonte, if you can't qualify on the pole, qualify 11th or worse.
Yeah, and I think that's a rule that they need to look at. Larry and I were talking about this yesterday. That's an old school. We used to take the top 10 because they didn't know, they were checking them, make sure nobody did anything to them. They got so many checks and balances now, nobody's going to do anything to the tires they qualify on.
Junior 0.7 of a second up on Casey Kane.
Plus, it's a huge disadvantage. Why does a guy who's qualifying the top 10 got to start on the tires he qualified on when you know that's a disadvantage?
So it sounds like it should be everybody?
Or nobody. Exactly.
Matt.
Mike, young Casey Kane continues to impress. This was the first racetrack this season that he didn't have a chance to test because NASCAR and ISC, the track owner, were putting in the new safer walls. So he had to rely more on his Busch experience here, and he won the pole. The car, a little skatey. Tommy Baldwin, as crew chief, said it should take about 10 to 12 laps for it to settle in. Remember the egg from Rockingham, Vegas, and Atlanta. Also, one other thing to keep in mind, NASCAR was talking about a competition yellow about lap 40, so if your car is not right, we'll adjust it again.
Well, Matt, I guarantee you Greg Biffle is looking for lap 40 right now. He can't wait for that competition caution to come out where he can get those tires off of his car.
Casey Kane, the pole sitter, and back to the front.
And that was a gimme. He's faster than the 8 car, Dale Jr. So Casey just blows by him, and Dale Jr. says, I'll follow you a while, young man. You look like you're running pretty good.
You don't race each other this early in the race.
No
They
reason.
caught you for a reason.
Tell that's Elliott Sadler as he blasts underneath Rusty Wallace to take 6th place.
Well, you got, back there, you got to pass them when you catch them. One thing about new tires, you got to take advantage of them while the car feels good. You got to go like crazy.
23 laps in to the Carolina Dodge Leaders 400. Casey Kane over Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch as Joe Rutland goes to the garage. Among the front 5, score 1 for youth and enthusiasm. The oldest of the front 5, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 3rd place, age 29. You got to go back to 6th place Tony Stewart to find a driver in his 30s, and 10th place Ward Burton for a driver in his 40s. 23-year-old Casey Kane puts the move on Jr. and goes to 3rd.
Looks like to me DW's young guns are dominating this thing as we're almost a third of the way. But I want to go back and want to update right now our 13th place car, Greg Biffle, in the 16. Remember, back on lap 9, he was the only lead lap car that elected to stay out, and he worked his way back to about 19th before he was finally able to get 4 tires on it. But I've been watching his lap times. He has a very quick race car, but his teammate, Matt Kenseth, who qualified back in 15th, he's just been quietly hanging there, Steve, not making a lot of noise, but just being solid.
Larry, I talked to his crew chief, Robbie Reiser, this morning, and he said that they were loose off of turn 4 all weekend. That was a concern, and that has stayed consistent. They're a little tight getting into the corners. Maybe a minor problem that could get worse later. Matt's radio piece is loose, and when he keys the mic, it is extremely difficult for the team to hear what Matt is saying.
Thanks, Steve. There are the Roush cars and where they are positioned with Kurt Busch leading. How about last year's winner, Ricky Craven, who started this race toward the back of the field? How's he fared today, Dick Berggren?
Oh, not very well, Mike Joy. He is running well back in the pack in 32nd spot right now, and he too had radio problems early in this event. He just called into his crew and said the car is out of balance. Somebody passes him and he just slides through the turn. He has also complained about the car understeering, pushing. So Craven from the state of Maine, been a tough day today.
34 cars on the lead lap, and Darrell, let's not count out the veterans. Here's a pack of them in hot contention.
Well, I've been watching particularly Terry Labonte in the 5 car, and Rusty seems like he's got a little problem right now, but Terry has been sitting back there in a little zone all his own. He may not have the car to win the race, but he's driving this race the way a veteran would drive it. This is the closest I've seen him to anybody since we started the race. He's got Ricky Rudd in front of him and Rusty Wallace behind him, 21 and 2. I think he feels pretty comfortable running with those guys, knowing they're not going to do anything dumb, make a Darlington mistake like a lot of guys do.
Labonte, defending champion of the fall race here, the Southern 500.
But, Darrell, they cannot fool around long, because right now this race has that green flag look about it, and they're only 10 seconds in front of our leader right now, Kurt Busch, and he's running quite a bit quicker than those guys.
But when the leader starts to catch up with traffic, Larry, I mean, it slows them down so much. I mean, you can lose a couple of seconds a lap here dealing with a slow car or a lap car because you just lose your momentum. Single groove racetrack, hard to pass.
Andy Belmont has joined Morgan Shepherd in the garage area, along with Kirk Shelmerdine, Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon, Andy Hillenberg, and Joe Ruttman. Kyle Petty, Michael Waltrip running many laps down. Waltrip after that crash at lap 9, and Kyle Petty having problems with the rear end, which they replaced in the garage. Everybody else on the lead lap. Kurt Busch, 1.4 seconds up on Ryan Newman. There's rookie Brendan Gaughan behind Busch, who has just become the first car one lap down.
There's one thing you know about Darlington. If you test it often enough, you'll probably flunk the test more than you pass it. So driving on the edge here, you cannot do that lap after lap and expect to survive.
Busch the leader, Newman second, Casey Kane, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is fourth. Matt?
Dale Jr. still hovering in the top 5 on that last stop back on lap 56. Jr. said the car was snug on entry and in the center. Not too bad an exit, just a little bit free in the center down in 3 and 4. They made a chassis adjustment and pulled the spring rubber, but what they did, they rotated the loose condition from the center now to entry. Jr. says the car is just too loose when he tries to make his arc into the corner, currently in the 4th position.
A little telemetry on Dale Jr. You see the speed and the gap to the race leader.
And you hear how he's feathering that thing.
Larry, what about the driver who swept both ends of the Winston Cup season here in 1999?
Yeah, I mean, he qualified back in 33rd, Jeff Burton in the 99. He's worked his way back up to 17th. Remember, he had that front end damage. His crew worked on it and put him near the rear of the field. But I think Jeff Burton, who ran second in yesterday's Busch race, Darrell, it's a typical Jeff Burton run. He likes those long green runs. His car don't give up as much as others.
Yeah, he's got a new crew chief, and looks like, they might take them a race or two to get their communication worked out. But by the same token, he's coming to a place where he can give good feedback, which is going to make the crew chief's job a lot easier.
Yeah, Paul Andrews was released this week as a crew chief, and Roush went a different direction with this car. He put his chief engineer, Bob
Absolutely no pressure from behind. Just race the racetrack. Keep doing what you're doing.
That's his spotter telling him no pressure from behind. In other words, don't worry about what's behind you, because right now no one is behind you. But Bob Osborne has been named the crew chief, who's been with Roush since 1999, the chief engineer.
And again, you get in that zone. The veterans get in the zone. They're by themselves, nobody in front, nobody behind, and you just kind of run your own race.
Boy, this kid's been in the zone, like the end zone. Second, third. Last 3 races for Casey Kane. Matt?
And Casey Kane continues to show about 1/10 to 2/10 faster a lap than leader, the 97 car, Kurt Busch. Over the past 2 runs, Casey says the car is just way too free, way loose on that right rear tire. Tommy Baldwin didn't make a chassis adjustment on the last stop, but what he did, he went to a different set of tires that had a stagger very close to the set of tires that Casey had on his second run. 3-4 laps ago, Tommy keyed the mic and said, Casey, why don't you dial a little front brake into it and see if that helps? Now, how is Casey King going to do that? Let's go to Jeff Hammond for more.
What Casey Kane is going to try to do with those instructions from his crew chief, he's going to actually take a knob that's mounted on the dash, and he's going to adjust these brakes here. This is what you call a dual master cylinder, and what it is, this is the front, this is the rear. What he will do is turn that knob and change the pressure from the front and the rear balance. That's what he's looking to do, is to make more front brake grip, so when he goes down in the corner, the car will actually stop more on the front brake than it will in the rear. What you're doing is just changing the braking percentage from the front to the rear. Darrell?
Now, one of the things that this place really rewards is good physical conditioning, because you got to stay sharp here all day long, and good, quick hand-eye coordination. because you're going to get a little loose every now and then. The car's going to jump around unexpectedly. That's why the kids, the young guys like him, can really get the job done here.
And just to put a period of what Matt was talking about on stagger, what that is, that's a difference in size between the left side tires and the right side tires. It don't really change that much with radial tires, but they have about an inch difference that makes the car turn around the corner. And we've seen with this tire configuration where an eighth of an inch difference can make a difference in that car being tighter or looser.
And again, Larry, people that are back in the pack right now that I think are running their own race, racing the racetrack like we are over and over again, is that guy right there. He knows how to win here. He's not worried right now. Got a good race car. Keep adjusting on it. Be there at the end.
Arnold Palmer was Grand Marshal last week. Did you know that Dale's middle name is Arnold?
I had no idea.
Named
After Arnold Palmer.
How about that?
How about that?
Kurt Busch at 98 laps. Up on Ryan Newman now by 1.5 seconds.
See Dale Jarrett, 88, the UPS car inside of our leader, Jimmy Johnson. Right now, he is 2 laps down right there. Remember, he had to make that green flag pit stop a few laps ago because of the flat tire. He elected to stay out. But right now, he is going backwards in a hurry. They're going by him left and right.
Nick Berger on leader Jimmy Johnson.
Boy, everything is going just right for Jimmy Johnson, Mike. Crew chief Chad Canals, after the caution flag flew, told his driver, good job, Hot Rod. And then he called for a whole bunch of changes to be made on that race car. And every single one of those crew members came to the fore, and they did a beautiful pit stop. 12.6 seconds. Usually the rear tire change is the slowest on most pit stops. Joe Zanolini has done a beautiful job. He has been right with them all on every single stop. Great stops today. Matty.
Second 1 year ago, the 97, Kurt Busch currently runs second. He told his crew chief, Jimmy Finning, he said, it feels like I'm actually faster than the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. I just can't pass him with the dirty air. I feel like it's causing me to lose too much of front grip, and then it makes the back end start to slide a little bit. Jimmy tried to fix his race car just a smidgen to try to help Kurt make a run on the 48. Made an air pressure adjustment to Steve Burns.
Hey, Matty, an air pressure adjustment for Greg Biffle as well. He said, I'm just a little tight. They went down a ½ pound on that right front tire. Now, to go back just a little bit, remember Biffle reported he thought he had a flat tire. They got a break when the caution came out, and the caution prior to the most previous one. They still do not know what was wrong with that tire. Crew chief Doug Richards saying they may have damaged it with air pressures being too low.
Now, Larry, these guys must not be watching the same race we're watching. Because every time somebody stays out on there, Dale Jarrett's restarted up on the front row, and he is going back through the field and about to get run over on every corner.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it happen on lap 9, almost 200 laps ago. And, yeah, they're not learning. But, guys, we've got 100 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson, Robbie Gordon, Bobby Labonte, they just ran the quickest lap that they've run in this race. It's getting right now.
Oh, yeah, well, the cars are adjusted up. The weather's getting better. Track's cooling down. There's a song in there somewhere.
Or there will be. Jeff Burton. Hot Wheels on that car, a one-race deal, and he has some Hot Wheels. He is coming through the field and finds himself at 11th right now.
Yeah, started back in 33rd, but remember, way back early in the race, he got front-end damage on pit road, got in the back of Jeremy Mayfield's car. They spent extensive time on pit road on the caution, kept him on the lead lap. His car is so good on green runs. I just know Jeff Burton does not want to see another caution in this race.
17 cars on the lead lap. Right behind Burton, Earnhardt Jr. finds himself 12th ahead of Stewart, Wimmer, Harvick, Marlin, and Burton.
Darrell, I still don't believe. I mean, he's back on the lead lap. Remember, he got the pardon a while ago. He's up in 12th position. But watching the lap times, although he ran a pretty quick lap then, I still don't think they've got that car where they want it.
No, but it's better than it was. He has been able to pass some cars, and he's back there running in that high groove again and making some pretty good time here, it looks like. It's kind of what they did at Atlanta. I mean, the car to me had the same traits that it had at Atlanta. It went off. It was good on short runs, but at the end of the day, they got it good.
Riding with Mark Martin. The Roush cars right now are second 6th, 11th.
Looking inside, behind the 12, clear, clear.
Driver Mark Martin knows Darlington. In Busch competition here, he has won 8 races and 8 poles, more than anyone else by a factor of 2. In 36 Nextel Cup starts, Martin and his Ford have earned 14 top 5s, 2 poles, 5 second-place finishes, and a win. One of Darlington's all-time greats, Ford driver Mark Martin, right now running in 6th.
Mark's car is not where he wants it right now. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he goes by as a This is a battle for 8th position we're watching.
So McMurray picks up the spot, moves him back up in the order to 8th place in that Texaco Dodge. Matt?
Just trying to battle back from a miscue on that lap 165 stop when a lug fell off. It cost him 8 spots on the racetrack. This last stop, Donnie Wingo backed up half a round, took that wedge out they put in 2 stops ago. Jamie is now trying to work his way back up. One other note, he told Donnie and spotter Lauren Ranier, next time we come back, I want to put that small mirror on the left side window like we run in a lot of other places. I feel like it will actually help me a lot here on restarts.
You never learn what you can do to these race cars to help your driver. It may be something simple as a different rear view mirror. You got to make that note, bring it back different. I tell you, a car that's been there all day long, solidly, Casey Caden's teammate, Jeremy Mayfield in that 19 car, he's just been good and solid. Has some damage to the rear of the car, but I think it's in a place where it's not affected.
17 cars in the lead lap, another 13 cars, 1 lap down. The field got split by 1 round of green flag pit stops. We've had 6 caution flags. Notable cars out of the race, including Jeff Gordon, who got caught up in a lap 28 crash, and Ricky Craven, who went out in a crash at lap 161.
17 pit road, Mike. I say he's been falling back, and I think he may have a flat tire.
He's back in the 30th position, 2 laps down. He's going to go 3, maybe 4 laps down on this green flag stop. Steve Burns.
Loose wheel or broken wheel? It's got to be broken wheel.
And Larry, I'm listening to Matt Kenseth, and he said it's either a loose wheel or a broken wheel as he heads onto pit road right now. Loose wheel or a broken wheel?
Well, you're a lap down. You're out there. You're trying to salvage the best finish you can in the start. You know, you have a problem. I guess you have to come back in because there's no point making a bad day a whole lot worse.
This hole just keeps getting deeper, though.
Have a look at points as of the moment. Kenseth's lead would sink to 31 over Dale Jr. and 34 over Tony Stewart. We're inside 100 laps to go. Here at the track, Too Tough to Tame as they investigate the wheel that just came off Matt Kenseth's car. Here we go.
55 laps to go.
Kurt Busch leads Bobby Labonte, Robbie Gordon, Mark Martin, and Jimmy Johnson to turn 1.
Rusty Wallace in the 2 car. Remember, he had made that green flag stop right before that caution. He's actually 3 laps down right now.
Yeah, he was a lap down when he came to pit road. Boy, Casey came back in there, guys. He got Matt Kenseth and Brendan Gaughan. They got side by side and caused Casey to have to really check up.
Nice day today for Derek Cope. Lap down, had a top 10 qualifying effort here from the quarter window of his Arnold Motorsports number 50. Showing you just how close they get to that barrier.
Inside low, inside low.
And that's in the middle of the corner where he was at.
Yeah,
They're still there.
he was just working with us with that shot. They
The bunch up, bud. Hang in there.
It's really close down here in 3 and 4.
You'd have to really play him with that throttle all the way off the corner on the straightaway. At the end of the straightaway, this is well over 180 miles per hour against that wall.
Well, I tell you, Bobby Labonte is coming off a turn 2 over there.
Jamie McMurray drops to the bottom. Moving on the lap car, Ryan Vickers, and we've got a fight for the lead brewing.
Yes, we do. And Bobby Labonte, as you said, Darrell, Michael Fatback McSwain, that whole group, they've just been making the right adjustments all day long on that race car.
Yeah, he's really good over here off the turn, too. He just really gets off of there much better than the 97 does.
But is he measuring him now? He was right to Busch's back bumper. Now he's dropped back a couple of car lengths. Steve.
Mike, hard to believe, but Bobby Labonte has not led a lap in 2004. On lap 233, when they stopped, they made small air pressure adjustments because the 18 car was tight. Half a pound in the left rear, half pound out of the right front, half pound out of the right rear. And one quick note, Ryan Newman's team made no adjustments to the 12.
Guys, one thing I'm noticing down here, fastest lap of the race has just been run by your leader and the guy in second place. And one other thing I want to ask DW, hey, buddy, when do you stop racing the racetrack and start racing the competition?
Well, that's what I said, Jeff, on this restart. Now, you know, the taking it easy and racing the track is over. You got to figure out how you're going to win this race now. But you don't want to take yourself out like we saw Jeff Gordon and this couple of guys do here in the past. You got to really race hard, but you got to be careful.
But guys, you know the biggest thing Bobby Labonte, an 18 car, understands about this racetrack, you have to be there at the end. He's been running at the end of 17 consecutive races here at Darlington.
And Robbie Gordon in third right now, trying to hold off Jimmy Johnson, who's off his left rear quarter panel. There's Johnson to the inside. Whoa, Gordon almost got a piece of it. Elliott Sadler just went past Mark Martin, 5th place.
They've said a lot about Elliott today. He was the other one I was thinking of. Jeff Gordon and he were racing here last year, I think it was. They both hit the wall off of turn 2, racing each other.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler, he faded a little bit in the middle of the race, but Todd Parrott and that group, they've been getting in better now here in the later stages. And you can see right there over in turns 3 and 4 how much that corner's getting shaded now. The racetrack is really cooling down there.
Elliott Sadler has now come back to 5th, Matt.
And a great day also by the pit crew who's been servicing Elliott Sadler. They picked up 5 spots on his last stop, and they've been picking up a spot or 2 every stop today. An outstanding afternoon. Elliott on the last stop, Todd Parrott tried to adjust that car with a track bar adjustment to go up. He was just too tight in the center of the corner, and he also shoveled the air pressure, just trying to help Elliott out a little bit here at Darlington, currently in the 5th position.
But DW, as hard as the 31 and the 48 and now the 38, especially Robbie Gordon in the 31, as hard as they're running their race car, right now Kurt Busch and the 18 are content up there, kind of running single file. Not only is Robbie Gordon using his race car up, I mean, he's doing what he needs to do, but he's using it up, but that group's getting away.
Yeah, well, not a whole lot he can do about that because those 2 cars are pretty fast. They're just kind of driving away from everybody. He's just trying to keep Jimmy Johnson behind him right now. He's had a good car all day, and it's been good on long runs, so, you know, maybe he'll ease on away here. That's what he's thinking.
I think I've got the answer to my own question. Bobby Labonte caught Kurt Busch, got right up to his back bumper, then settled in 2 or 3 car lengths back. Now he's back to his back bumper again. Patience.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Kurt. You know, don't beat yourself. Don't forget that. Don't beat yourself. Put the pressure on the guy in the lead and make him be himself. Bobby Labonte is a patient race car driver.
And that's one reason he's been running at the end of 17 consecutive races here. But Dick Bergman, what's going on with Robbie Gordon in that 31?
Oh, you mean besides trying to hold off Jimmy Johnson that's all over his back bumper? Well, a couple of laps ago, Robbie Gordon called on the radio and said that the car is a little bit free. Richard Childress, the team owner, got on the radio and said, take care of your stuff. You've got a top 5, top 10 car there. Hit your marks. That's the game plan. Hit your marks. Keep that 48 behind him.
Take it to the bank.
Yeah, what Richard Childress is telling him is Bobby Labonte in 18 is really putting pressure on Kurt Busch right now is, look, we have had a terrible season. We've had 2 DNFs. A good top 5 finish here will not be bad.
In fact, it's been 18 races since Robbie Gordon had a top 10 finish. So this is a great turnaround for them.
And I would probably say that was that win at Watkins Glen more than likely. But just look at our track temperature right now. Remember, turns 3 and 4 right here, it was 111 degrees, and back there at 1 and 2, it was about 80-something degrees. So 3 and 4, remember, it's the one getting the shade, Jeff Hammond. It's really cooling down.
It really is there as far far as that's concerned, Larry. But, Darrell, the one thing I want to know from your vantage point, these shadows, when you go up into those corners now and the wall turning black, is it difficult for the driver to keep the car off the wall now?
Jeff, I tell you, down here in 3 and 4 where the track is really, really shaded, when you come into that area where they are right now, those lead cars, it's very difficult to see that outside retaining wall. And that's where Kurt Busch is ever so close. I just keep waiting for something to happen down there. And here comes the 42 car of Jamie McMurray on pit road with tire smoke.
Yeah, this is not scheduled. Matt, what's the problem?
Mike, about 8 laps ago, he came on the radio and said, I've got a vibration. 2 laps later, says the vibration is only in the corners, but it's also making my car tight. And he says, I think I may have a loose wheel. So they called him down pit road. Jamie made the call, slides to a stop, almost slides through his pit. As they go to work on the right side of the car, they're talking about possibly making an adjustment. Now look how close the car is. They may have a little bit of trouble. Yeah, see the jack handle hits the wall. It's going to take a number of pumps to get that car out. He's too close to the wall, sliding into his pit. A slow stop for Jamie McMurray. Because of John Moore South, loses a lot of time here on pit road.
Yeah, he was pitted toward the inside of the pit box as if expecting only the right side tires might be changed. That's where he ended up.
Yeah, that's sliding is what did that. It got him slid in too close to the wall.
Ricky Rudd back in the race after a lot of damage to his watercraft Ford. And here is the pass for third place.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Remember, he'd been working Robbie Gordon in the 31 about the last 15 laps. Robbie Gordon complained about his car being loose. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 finally capitalized.
And now Elliott Sadler moves on Robbie Gordon.
And I tell you who else is moving on Robbie Gordon. Mark Martin in that 6 car just keeps getting stronger as the day goes on.
You see what I'm seeing? All of the old age and treachery, all of these older experienced drivers moving toward the front as this race winds down.
They always, the cream rises to the top, as they say.
And again, Bobby Labonte had a run on Kurt Busch, backed out to save his stuff until when?
Yeah, he's just kind of annoying him right now, distracting him.
Just to update you, Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he is about a lap and 3/4 down right now, but he does have those 4 fresh tires. Matt.
Larry, Matt, 4 fresh tires. Great diagnosis by Jamie. He did indeed, looking at the wheel, had a loose wheel.
Pretty much with 38 laps to go, that's probably going to take him out of the equation of at least contending for the win.
Larry, explain, when you take that wheel off, how do you tell if it was loose?
You'll look at the lug hose where the lug studs go through, and they'll be egg-shaped or oblong. That's the giveaway. But you have to change 4 because he can't tell. It's vibrating so bad, he cannot tell which one possibly might be loose.
Ryan Newman was the quickest car on the racetrack. He was coming to the front, but now he's settled back in 8th place as the lead. Whoa, about to change hands. Bobby Labonte made his move. Kurt Busch came down a little bit. They're still at it.
Bobby's so good off the 2-over. Now, Kurt's going to get him back right here. He's good in 3 and 4. Where he got beat last year here was he wasn't very good in 3 and 4. This year, he's good in 3 and 4. He's suffering a little bit off the 2 over there. Bobby Labonte is good off the 2.
Yeah, Kurt last year could not put the throttle down coming off turn 4. He got that wheel spin. That's how Ricky Craven got up beside him.
He's a little loose off of turn 2 over there, which you will be if you're going to be good down on this end of the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack.
Right there, that's where Bobby Labonte gets a run on him.
Yeah, he gets a run on him there. Kurt's loose, but that helps him in the shaded and down here in the shaded end of the racetrack.
Thing is getting a bit serious for the lead here. As we're about to ask Steve Burns what has happened to Ryan Newman.
Hey, Mike, he said he has gotten tight, and to make matters worse, he needs clean air. He's behind lap race cars, and he wants them out of the way.
Yeah, right now he's about almost 10 seconds behind our leader, Kurt Busch, right now. I'm not sure with 35 laps to go, anybody's going to get out of anyone's way. The pace car brings them around at 50 miles per hour. Pit road speed is 45 miles per hour. The pace truck runs about 5 miles an hour quicker. This could be it, boys, right here. This is where you have pumped that crew up, 5 off, 5 on, no mistakes by anyone.
This is it. This is your best chance to win right here. Dick Bergman.
Well, Chad Knaus has got his crew all pumped up and ready to go, and here comes Jimmy Johnson for what will be the most important pit stop of the day. They have been flawless all day long. They need to be absolutely perfect this time around. Right sides look good. Up with a jack on the left side. So far, no mistakes. Nice, smooth pit stop. There we go.
Bobby Labonte in smoothly. Mark Armstrong and Barry Cook changing tires. They've gone up on those air pressures. Jack Mann, Jason Lee comes around, gets it fired up. Left side tires going on. Good stop for Bobby Labonte. Matt.
A nice entry by 25-year-old Kurt Busch. Wedge adjustment already completed. The guy, Scott Radel, jacks up that left side. The left side tire's going on. Oh, the Gilman does. Oh, boy. Close battle, the 18 to 48, Mike.
It was a drag race all the way down pit road after Bobby Labonte pulled out of his pit box.
And I guess NASCAR will call that one. John Darby, the Nextel Cup director, is looking at the video now, because when Bobby Labonte came out of his pit, he came out dead even with Jimmy Johnson, and that's the way they went all the way down the pit lane. Jimmy's crew, Chad Knaus' crew, knew they had a good stop on the Lowe's Chevy. We'll see how NASCAR rules it. Here's a look at the video. Advantage, Johnson. This is the objective, and only one car will fit here, victory lane.
Yeah, but more crews than that'll fit in there. I've been in there with other crews before.
Now, this will be what we call a down finger restart, which means single file lead lap cars only to the front, so there will be no lap traffic to the inside on this restart. I'm gonna keep a close watch on that orange number 31 car, Robbie Gordon, not to mention the gentleman behind him on Ryan Newman in that 12 car.
Well, that's what I say. If something should happen, just a little something happened to that 48 car on a restart, or he slips down here in the corner, Katie barred the door then, boys.
They will be there to capitalize.
They will.
Robbie Gordon looking for his first top 10 since Michigan last August, just after he had that Watkins Glen win 18 races ago. Looks like he's going to get it. But don't leave, because anything can happen. There are 19 cars on the lead lap as they get one to go. So they'll come around to complete lap 289 and have a 4-lap fight to the finish.
And just like you heard Rick Hendrick say, hey, that's why we pay you the big bucks. I don't want to hear about missing a shift, spinning the tires. I don't want to hear any of that. Focus, get your job done.
But Darrell, even though those laps only have 2 laps on them, this is where you are prone. This will be the first time these guys have had a restart on tires that are not brand new. You've almost got to baby that throttle a little bit on this restart.
One other thing to remember, if something happens and the caution comes out, we're past the point where they would red flag this race. If the caution comes out, race over.
The field is frozen no matter what lap we're on. There you see 50, 55 miles per hour, the pace truck bringing them down.
And as nervous and uptight as you are when the race starts, nobody knows what this feels like right here except somebody that's been there and done that. And right now your heart is pounding out of your chest.
You've got all the opportunity and 4 laps to find a way to make it work.
Pace truck is off.
Johnson, Labonte, Gordon, Newman, Sadler, Busch, Martin, Harvick, Mayfield, Biffle, the top 10. 4 laps to go.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48, he gets a pretty good restart, nice and clean.
Bobby Labonte may have laid off in a little bit because Bobby has really been good off of turn 2, but Jimmy is scooting away right now. Here's where Bobby has been good in the past coming off of turn 2. Johnson looks like he's up for the task.
Ryan Newman in that 12 car, he got a good run off turn 2. He wants to get to Robbie Gordon in the 31 for that 3rd position. He pulls to the inside, about 10 car lengths behind our top 2.
These cars on worn tires now, though they had a chance to cool under the caution. Newman side by side with Gordon. They may trade a little paint before they get to turn 1.
You know, 3 to go. That's good news for Bobby Labonte in 18, Jimmy Johnson in 48. It'll be a 2-man race here. But Ryan Newman does clear the 31, and what a run he gets off turn 2.
And Bobby Labonte got a great run off, too. He's right to Johnson's bumper.
That's where he's going to make his move. If he can get him, he's going to get under him there. Well, although looks like he's trying to look underneath, but he hasn't been that good on the outside in turn 4. Where he's going to get him is when he gets down into turn 2 and get alongside of him going down the back straightaway and then hopefully hang on.
2 to go.
Here he comes. He's been really good right over here. From here off stay in the throttle. Close, close, close. Here I come. Johnson's got the power under the hood to hold him off.
There's the two crews right here, a lap and a half to go. The 18 crew on the left, the 48 crew on the right. There's Bobby Labonte at the bottom. Jimmy Johnson's so good on the high side off turn 4. White flag this time.
Johnson, I think, said after that chart that Bobby Labonte put on him there a while ago, he said, if that's all you got, that ain't enough.
He may have one more shot, DW.
Jimmy went in a little bit low that time. Here comes Bobby. 18 cars. Just doesn't quite have the steam down the straightaway, but he's going to dive her in here hard, baby. Come on.
I guarantee he'll drive it in down here, turn 3 and 4. He went to the high side, but Jimmy Johnson in the 48 well. He just needs to come nice and straight off turn 4.
Jimmy Johnson, the Lowe's Chevrolet. Jimmy becomes the 41st driver to win at Darlington.
These guys are beating and banging. These are all big lap cars. But Ryan Newman will finish 3rd, Robbie Gordon 4th, Elliott Sadler 5th, Kurt Busch 6th, Mark Martin 7th, Harvick 8th, Mayfield 9th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes back to finish 10th.
That's amazing. The junior come back to 10th because he has had a terrible day after the start of this race.
Jeff Burton, Casey Kane, and Casey Mears each picked up a position on the last lap.
DW, remember the first time you won here, the granddaddy of them all?
I did. Chris Economaki interviewed me. Well, Darryl, how's it feel to win at the Laney and Flying?
That's very good. Very good.
I'd say we'll see some burnouts. What do you think?
They called him Hot Rod on the radio during the race. Hot Rodding began and grew up in California. So did this guy.
He definitely knows how to do a burnout.
Steve Burns has the runner-up.
And Bobby Labonte talking to Michael McSwain. Bobby, you guys, I heard you say that car was a handful early in the race, but they got you hooked up, and then talk about the shootout at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a handful early on, and the guys adjusted on it. Michael and everybody, they worked real hard to get this car a little bit better throughout the day. And, you know, a little bit of redemption from Atlanta. We missed out a little bit at Atlanta. If I'd have known that last weekend, I wouldn't have gone to work on Sunday, guys. It was kind of embarrassing. But anyway, the guys did a good job. I mean, pit stops were good. You know, we got beat out a little bit there at the end, but, you know, on a short run, we probably weren't quite as good. Obviously, the long run we were before that caution came out when Kyle blew his motor, and you know, we had, you know, crushed the 97 car there at that point in time, you know, and I mean, just trying to make it to the end. But caution flag got us, and you know, it still is a great run for us. A good top 5, and we needed that. And just like to thank everybody on this Interstate Battery Chevrolet, Will Butrin, Coca-Cola, MB&A, all our sponsors. And it was a good day.
Thanks, Bobby. Let's go to Dick.
With Ryan Newman, we're going to jump in here a little bit. From a lap down, did you think that was the end of the day for you?
No, I mean, when you're leading and you go a lap down because the driver makes a mistake going on pit road, I knew we had a car that was capable of running in the top 5 for sure. And Bat and the guys did a great job. Awesome pit stop there in the last one, and got us a spot, and we got one more on the racetrack.
Well done. Finishing 3rd today.
Jimmy Johnson with today's victory gains 3 in the Nextel Cup point standings. Chad Knaus congratulating him in victory lane.
Victory right there, boy.
Hugged by his dad for the 3rd time in past 4 Darlington races. 100 cars in victory lane, and you kept saying, I can't believe I've won Darlington. How special is this place?
Unbelievable. I can tell you right now, the Gatorade hurts in the eyes. I can tell you that much. Nice to be here and win. Thanks, Paul.
By the way, you're not going to repo the plane now.
Not going to repo the plane this week. Just keep it another week.
This is unbelievable. This has been a huge goal of mine to try to win at Darlington, and we've always had a great car and been very close. And then to do it today with the teamwork that we had. We were a great car in the short run. The pit stops what made the difference, got us the lead, got us the win. And I had to outdo my little brother. He had his first late model race last night, finished 2nd, so I had no choice but to win. So I'm happy with that. And say hello to my fiance. She's up in New York watching. I know she's flipping out right now.
And to win Darlington's one thing, but to win it in such dramatic fashion, what were you thinking when Labonte tried his move late?
Bobby was a better car. I knew I had better air being in the lead, and I just needed to protect it and block it. And I knew he was coming, but luckily it was a short run, and we were able to bring the Slows Monte Carlo to victory lane. So awesome day. I can't believe this. This is the highlight of my career so far.
A hug by his dad. His little brother got a 2nd last night. Jimmy Johnson scores his first Darlington win.